All right. Hello. Let's just make sure everything's working. Looks like it's working. Seems like it's working. Okay. Hello. Welcome back to the table with me, Bob, on this lovely little Sunday we have. A little cold outside where I am, but I think that's probably true for most people in this hemisphere. So I thought I would warm things up a little bit with just some of the most charming art I've seen in a board game in such a long time. And if that was enough to make a game a hit, this game would be a smash. That being said, this game is a smash because it's not just about the art. This game has amazing art and great gameplay. I think it's one of the best games to come from 2024. And, uh, I just, as you'll see, I'm going to step through this with everybody. I'll be right back. I'm going to be talking to you while I'm off camera. I did forget to post something, so I'm going to do that real quick. But have a look at the board while I'm there. This is Harvest. Harvest was published in 2024 by Keymaster Games. Hold on 1 second. Let me post this and then pin that. Okay, very good. Anyway, sorry, I meant to do that earlier and totally forgot. So anyway, this is Harvest from Keymaster Games. It came out in 2024. Pretty well received, I'd say. I think it deserves more praise than it even got, to be fair. And I think you'll see why. I'm going to play this solo today, as I always do. Thank you for joining us. I should mention at the top of the stream, I am pushing pretty hard for Twitch affiliate, which just allows me to do more fun things and offer more fun capabilities here on Twitch for the folks that tune in and watch my stream. So to do that, though, I need to hit 50 followers. I'm at 39 or 40, I think, right now. So I'm not far away. I just need 10 more. So if you like what you see today, please do me a favor, click follow. Doesn't cost you a dime, isn't a difficult thing to do. I'm not going to spam you with anything other than notifications when I go live. So anyway, yeah, if you don't mind helping me out, that would be a huge help to me. Just click follow. And anyway, let's get into it. So Keymaster Games put out this beautiful game called Harvest. We are anthropomorphic animals. You can see Ruthie the raccoon down here. In fact, I can even cut in a little closer, I think. Maybe I can do it down here. We'll go to the middle of the board and I'll put Ruthie out in the front here where you guys can see that a little bit better. So this is Ruthie. I'm playing Ruthie the raccoon. Ruthie has a special ability that we'll get into in a minute as we talk more about the game. But every character you play in the game, no matter who you pick, has an asymmetric player power. That's fancy terms for an ability that only you have. Every other player has a different kind of ability. So I'm playing Ruthie. So with that, I am playing against, when you play solo, you're playing against Gary. Gary is the interrupting cow. As cows do, they interrupt. So Gary is going to be interrupting me throughout play today. Just, he's going to visit the locations around town and he's going to chat it up with the neighbors and just generally get in my way. The goal of the game, of course, this is a farming game at its core. So you are planting crops, you're fertilizing crops or tending to them, and then you're ultimately harvesting those crops. But in the process, you're also managing your own farm, and that's what we have here. This is my farm board right here. And my farm board has some wooded areas. It also has a few kind of areas that are available. That are available for me to immediately start planting. But over the course of the game, I can clear some of this land and then build things on it. And what I mean by that is I can build buildings. If you want to watch me play Fields of Green a couple weeks ago, I was building buildings on a farm. That was a tile layer, so I'm actually like laying cards out and building a tableau. This is similar to that. I do have a smaller board, but there isn't adjacency rules or anything. This is all about what improvements do I want to put on my farm? Do they give me immediate benefits? Do they give me end of game benefits? All of that is available and to my choosing, but it doesn't matter what sits next to what, like it did in Fields of Green. So this is much more flexible, available. You're really kind of competing with yourself. If you build a lot of buildings, you have less farmland available for you to farm crops, so you kind of have to figure out what you're going to do there. So this is a worker placement game, right? So I'm going to be putting workers out. Gary's going to be putting workers out, and there's the initiative changes based on how much you what strategy you choose to employ on a given round, and we'll get into showing you what that looks like in a second. But it means that Gary might get to some place that I really want to get to first, and I'm going to have to deal with what that is. A lot of the locations on the board are permanent, they're static, they don't change from game to game, but there are some things that do change from game to game. But let me take you around the board. So over on this side of the board, this is the left side of the board, this is the farmer's market and general store. So general store is up here in the top left, and this is the farmer's market down here. As you'll see, the general store has a bunch of static imagery on the board. It doesn't change from game to game. The farmer's market has a stack of long tiles on it. These are locations that we can go to, and they do change from game to game. There's more of them than what's out on the board. They are shuffled together and randomly picked. They're even double-sided. So if you flip certain things and not other things, you may see a completely different arrangement of stuff from game to game. And if you're playing in a much larger player count, like 4 and above, you have even more available spaces to go to in the farmer's market. But because I'm playing solo, it's a tighter game, so the entire section is out to lunch. I love it. So that's this side of the board. The left side of the board is really just the general store. Up in the general store, it's very simple. You go to one of those spots, and depending on which spot you go to, if I go to the first spot, I take 1 action here. If I go to the second spot, I take 2 actions and 3 actions. So what's an action? One of these. So if I want to get a grain seed, I can do that for free. If I want to get some fertilizer, which, I mean, come on, that's adorable. It's poo. If you want to get some fertilizer, that's free. If you want to be able to carry more water at any given point, that costs $1, right? If I want to get a strawberry, a blueberry, or a pumpkin seed, those cost additional money. If you take the 1 action, you get $1 for just going there. So it's kind of a consolation prize. If you're the last one to go there, you get $1. But you also get to take 1 action. So you get $1 and an action, which is great. Dollars are spent for a lot of things in the game. As you'll see, anywhere you see these kind of red dollar signs, anywhere around the board, that's where you're spending your money. So at the farmer's market, these are random, but for this first round, I can go get blueberries just for free instead of paying $1. But if I have to be the first one here, because there's every space on the board is a 1 person can go there only, except for where you see the little infinity symbol. So here on the general store, everyone can go to 1 over and over again. There's no limit to the number of players that can go there. So if Gary goes there, it doesn't matter. I can still go there. But these do not have that symbol, so these are first come, first serve. If I pay $2, I can upgrade the seeds that I currently have in my inventory. So I currently have a corn. I could move that to a strawberry, and if I already had a strawberry, I could upgrade that to a blueberry. This is 2 upgrades, so I could apply that twice to the same seed, or I could split it to 2 different seeds if I happen to have that in my inventory. Then I get a fertilizer, and then I get to take, I believe that's a fields action. Yeah, it is. I can take a field action, which is the next section of the board. All of that happens in 1 action for paying $2. And then over here, I get to upgrade the amount of water that I can carry and then refill my current water store. And in fact, I misspoke earlier. This $1 is just to refill your current water, not to upgrade it. That's the difference between these 2 symbols. This one is to upgrade the amount I can carry. This is to refill the amount that I can currently carry. And I'll show you that on my player board in just a minute. So then and this one is just take another fields action. So what's a field action? Well, field action, if I look to the middle part of the board, field action, this is the current round, this little tractor here. So that's just tracking the current round. We're currently on round 1. So If I go here, I take 1 field action, 2 field actions. And if I go here, I pay the current round in money. So right now it's round 1, so I pay $1. But at the end of the game, the last round, it'll be round 4, and that going there will cost $4 instead of 1. So this gets more expensive the later in the game you go, but if you pay that price, you get to take 3 actions. This becomes really valuable towards the later half of the game because you'll have more to do. You'll have more things that you can stack together. Right now, you don't have very many resources available to you because you haven't built anything up. So there's very little you can do repeatedly in the same action right now. So that's kind of the reason why you want to kind of get optimized as quickly as you can so you can leverage this for a lower cost. But if you just take the 1 action, you get to take 1 of these actions, but you also then get your choice of taking an extra fertilizer or getting an extra water. So I'll show you what that looks like as I use that space because I'm sure I will. But the tend actions are really interesting. Let's say I have a corn, which is what I currently have. I can plant that corn for free. It doesn't require me to fertilize it at all. And then later, if I take another action, or let's say I took the 2 action, I could plant and then tend in the same action. So planting costs me nothing because it doesn't require fertilizer because it's corn. And then here I can spend 1 water to then grow that corn. And then from that corn, I can then later, if I took the 3 action, if I had the money and the fertilizer, I could harvest that for 1 victory point, and I would get a fertilizer out of it because it's corn. Corn can be used as fertilizer. And then so on and so forth. So that gives you the idea. Like first you're planting, then you're tending, and then you're harvesting. If you want to pay the money, you can pay the money and do that all in one shot. So that's the fields. Down here at the trading post, you can just trade goods. So if you have 3 water, you can trade that for any one of these, right? Or 2 fertilizer, any one of those. Or 1 seed, any one of those. We'll get into what these do, but that gives you an idea. This lets you upgrade the type of seed that you have. This gives you $1, right? This lets you clear the woods that are on your land. And then this lets you take a field action. So I could trade 2 fertilizer to take a field action, or trade a seed to take a field action, and so on. So let me remind everybody what my player board looks like. It looks like that. And so this is my fertilizer. You start the game with 1, and this is my water. I start the game with 1 water in a bucket that can hold 2 water. So later I can upgrade the capacity of my bucket, and then when I refill all the way up to the capacity of my bucket. So the better bucket you have, the bigger bucket you have, the more water you can hold at any given time. So that's the 2 main resources for planting things. Then let's move on to the last section of the board. This is the workshop. The workshop is where you go to make improvements to your farm board, so that you're going to be building buildings on your land that'll give you immediate benefits, and it may give you end game benefits. They're all worth victory points, the buildings themselves. So just building a building is worth doing, even if it doesn't give you ongoing benefits or you weren't able to capitalize on it as much as you might hope at the end of the game. Just the existence of having it on your farm earns you victory points. So when you take 1, 2, or 3 actions at the workshop, you can either upgrade the capacity of your bucket, costs $1. You can spend $2 to clear certain land off the board. And when you do that, you get to roll this die because you're out there clear cutting. You might find seeds. You might find some fertilizer you can use. You might find, hey, a wild strawberry. Let's grow that on my land, right? You might just find somebody dropped a buck. Get a buck, right? So you get to roll that die and get a little goodie that you might find on your land while you're clear cutting. And then finally, you can build one of these improvements. Now, here's the cool part. You notice those trees that were on my player board? Let me find it. Let me see. Did I click the right button? I did. So the trees that are on my player board, when I clear them, I flip them over. And when I flip them over, they come off my land and they go in to the workshop as buildings. So on the other side of those tiles are buildings. So every time I clear cut, the buildings that are on those tiles are the ones that become available for purchase out here in the workshop. So Gary will also be feeding tiles into this, and every round we play, the buildings get cheaper. Everything that's in the one row falls off, and then everything slides down. So I can see what's coming. I can see what's expensive right now. The ones on top cost 3, the ones in the middle cost 2, and the bottom row cost 1. So if I want to wait for something that I really like, because I don't want to pay the $3 to get it, I can do that, but Gary may buy it instead of me, right? So I have to be careful. If it's really, really good for my strategy, I might want to just fork out the cash. So there you go. In a nutshell, that's what's going on here at Harvest. I'm planting crops, I'm harvesting crops, I'm making improvements to my farm, and together we play Harvest. It's great. I think you're going to really enjoy it. So let's get into it. If there's any questions, put them in chat, and I will pause and answer them. So to get started, here's how this works. We set the initiative, really, but the initiative also functions as a little extra starting goodies at the beginning of every round. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I started the game with this initiative tile here. It has a 3 on it, so my initiative is 3. I don't get these goodies, and I'll show you why in a minute, because I'm going to trade this. I'm going to trade this for one of the 3 that we're going to deal out here at the bottom. In fact, I will zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. It has a 3 on it here. This is going to be traded for one of the 3 that I deal out here on the bottom. And then whatever I trade it for, those are the goodies that I get. And then from every round after that, I am going to be able to just keep trading. I'm going to be able to just keep trading those tiles every round for something new. So you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's do that right now. I'm going to deal top 3 of these, and we're going to pick between one of the 3 of these. Now, when you're playing solo, you also deal 1 tile to Gary. Gary is going 10th. He's going last this round. And when Gary goes, we're gonna draw one of his tiles, and he's gonna tell us what he does. But I know that I'm going first this round because Gary drew the lowest possible initiative. Cool. So now let's take a look at these choices that I have to make. I have a 2, a 6, and a 9. Well, sky's the limit. No matter what I do, Gary's going last. It's probably the best draw I could have gotten for the first round. Gary's not terribly disruptive, but he does block 2 spaces to every one of my actions. So I have to be careful with that. Interesting. So here's what I'm going to do. I need to trade this for one of these tiles. Now, what do I want to do? Well, I could take the 6, would get me $3 right now, and I would refill my water. Refilling my water is good. It's going to be better once I get my bucket capacity upgraded. But right now, it's still better because I would get, 2 water, and I start with 1, so I'd get a free water out of it. I could go here, get 2. It would be $2 and get another fertilizer I could use. That's good. I want the money right now, so I think I'm going to focus on one of these 2. Here's the thing. If I take this one, I can clear cut this for free. Normally, that cost me $2, but I get that for free, and I get to roll the die. So I think I'm going to take this. You'll notice that the lower in the initiative order you go, the better the actions. So Gary gets to go 10th. If he were a human player, he'd get $4 and the ability to build one of the buildings. He still has to pay the cost, but he can still build one of those buildings, all as part of his turn, as part of his action. He gets to resolve that. But because he's Gary and he's playing the Automa, he doesn't have to worry about that. So we're just going to use that for the initiative. His tile will tell me what he's going to do. So what am I going to do? I'm going to trade for the 9 because I still get to go first. And then I get $3 in the ability to clear some of my land and also clear, hold on, I don't want to put those on that pile. I'll put them on the bottom of the pile. That's good. And also clear some of my land, but roll the die and get something for free. So what do I want to clear? Well, I have a corn, and corn takes up a lot of room. So when I get this planted, it's going to take up 3 squares, which means right now I have to plant it vertically if I want to plant it because I don't have room any other way. But if I plant it vertically, I'll block a building space because building spaces take up 4, 2 by 2. So that's troubling. I don't really want to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is clear this space. That will let me plant this horizontally, and I can still build buildings in this corner. Likewise, I could do the same. I could clear that one instead and then build buildings down here. So what do I want to do? I think I'll clear this middle one. And that, as you'll see, will go out here up on the 3. And I just revealed that I could build a storehouse. That has the immediate benefit of upgrading 3 of my seeds, and it's worth 2 victory points at the end of the game. Since we're here, I'll talk about the rest of them. The water mill lets me refill my current bucket, and it gives me $1. It's immediate. As soon as I build it, I get it. 2 victory points at the end of the game. Cafe is interesting because cafe is at the end of the game. For every 2 coins that I have in my supply at the end of the game, I get 1 victory point. And just the existence of having the cafe, 2 victory points. And then the barn, refill my current bucket and take a field action. Immediate, right after I build it. And then finally, weather vane, also an immediate. Tend any planted crop once without paying its cost. Cool. It's also worth 2 victory points. So those are the things that currently are out. We're going to continue to add to them as I clear space. So that would let me have room to plant this corn. I have not planted this corn yet, but I just wanted to give you that example. So let's come out here. Now, what am I going to do? It's my turn. So let's take the $3 that's on my tile first and foremost. So I get $3. I start the game with 1. So that means I now have $4 to play with. I can also I just clear cut my field. So let me roll the die because I did not do that. I rolled a free fertilizer. So I found a fertilizer out in the woods. Okay. So I got a fertilizer. Oh, and I should mention Ruthie the raccoon. At any time, I can use money in place of either water or fertilizer. So if I have to spend a water or a fertilizer, I can instead spend $1. And when I go to the general store, it's as if I went to 1 space higher than where I went. So if I went to the first space, I would only be able to take 1 action, remember? But because I'm Ruthie, I get to go as if I went to the second space. And if I went to the second space, I would be able to go as if I went to the 3 space instead. So Ruthie gets to do more when they go to the general store. So that's Ruthie. By the way, I drew that completely random. The way the game structured is every player gets two tiles dealt to them and two sunrise tiles and 2 characters. And you get to decide which sunrise tile and which character. And I haven't talked about sunrise tiles, so I'm going to talk about them now. So I had 2 choices. I made my choices, and this is what I chose. So this was not a setup. Ruthie was one of my options, and I went with that. So what's a sunrise tile? That is on my player board. I'll show you that. On my player board down here, the sunrise phase of every turn, which is what we just did by resolving initiative. On your turn, you get to also execute your sunrise action. This is also random every time you play the game. You're going to get a different one of these. You draw them randomly. So right now I get to make the choice. Do I want to build something? I still have to pay the cost, but do I want to build something or do I want to get $1? I have $4. I could build something. Let's see. Let's take a look at our options. Do I want to build something right now without having to take a workshop action? That would be pretty handy. Well, I think maybe I could build the barn. I get water, right? I start the game with a corn, so I could get that corn built because the fields action is there. So I'd get 1 water and take a free fields action. So I'd at least be able to get it planted. That would be a nice way to kind of save a worker. I like that. It's only $2. It doesn't cost me 3. It's 2 victory points. Let's build a barn. Let's build a barn. Okay, so two of my $4, sorry. I'll come back to the main view so you can see that. 2 of my $4, I'm going to spend that, and I'm going to build this barn. This barn is going to go up here in the corner like we talked about. And now And there's the close-up view of that. So here's the barn now freshly installed on my on my farm. And so I'm going to increase my water up to its maximum value, which is 2 right now. Cool, free water. And I get to take a free farm action. So I'm going to plant this one corn that I've got. There it is. I'm going to plant that corn this away, and that lives right there. Didn't cost me any fertilizer because corn doesn't take any fertilizer to plant. So that was my one free field action, was to plant my corn. So now I've done that. I've sown those seeds into my land. They will produce corn for me. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. Okay, so I did that all for free. So let's recap, right? Since this was the first time. My initiative let me get $3 and clear cut and roll the die, right? So I resolved that. My sunrise tile let me either build a building or get $1. I chose build a building. So that's why the barn has been built. So I get 2 victory points. I don't remember if the game says I get those immediately or at the end of the game. I would imagine I get them immediately. I will just triple check because it would be good to know that so I don't miscount it, right? Boop, 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 boop. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Okay, game end. Okay, because it was now, I get those now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I went up. I'll show you that. I went ahead and moved my little button icon over here from 0 to 2 because I didn't see anything in the end game scoring that said now score your buildings. It did say resolve any end game scoring that's on your building tiles, but not the buildings themselves. So that tells me right there that when I build a building, I get to score those right away. So I scored 2 victory points for getting that barn built. Okay, still my turn, right? I still get to take one of my actions. I get 3 actions every round. So you'll see over here, I get little Ruthie. Let me see. You should be able to see that even though it's blue. That's what Ruthie looks like close up. The upgraded deluxe components on this game are super cute. So that's Ruthie. Where do I want to put Ruthie? Well, I did get this planted. So if I wanted to, I could come here. I could come out here. Let's take a look. I could come out here, take this one spot because I already took a fields action, it's already been planted, so I could tend it. And if I choose to take the one action instead, I could, but why would I do that? I mean, I would do that because it would give me a free fertilizer and a free water. And I'm about to spend a water right now to tend. But I think I get it before I have to resolve this first. So in this case, I wouldn't have the capacity right now. So it's really only good for getting another fertilizer, which, hey, that's good. But if I took the 2 action instead, I forego that, I would be able to harvest, which because it's corn, I'd get another fertilizer just from that, and I'd get an extra victory point right now. Interesting. You know what? I'm going to take the 2. I'm going to take the 2 because I want to show you guys what that looks like right away. So I just want to double check. I think I'm right, but I want to double check that I'm right. Yeah, tending crops. Tend as many crops as you want on your farm. When you tend a crop, you will spend its water cost to take a matching crop of that type from the supply and place it in an empty field space. Isn't that fun? So yeah, I'm taking a tend action, but that doesn't mean I only have to do this one time. I can do this for as many times as I've got water available to me and crops in the ground ready to be tended. Right now I only have corn, so I'm only going to do 1, but that doesn't mean it's a 1-for-1. It just happens to be. So I'm going to go to the 2 spot, so I get to take 2 fields actions. So my first action is going to be to tend the corn that I just planted. So I'm going to spend a water down to 1. And what that means is from the supply, I take an additional corn, and because I have open land, corn has grown and it has replicated. And there you go. So I had this one planted. I just added this one because I tended. I spent a water and I added an additional corn because it has grown. So now I have corn that has multiplied. essentially. And for my second action, I'm going to tend, which lets me harvest one of my crops. Doesn't matter which one. Could be the one that just grew. Could be the other. So I'll go ahead and just do the one that just grew. So I can do both actually. But if I leave it, and I can just tend it over and over again, and that's the other thing. I could leave that and then tend again, and then both of them would replicate again. But I don't have a lot of land right now, and let's go ahead and just for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and harvest just for the one, right? So I'll harvest that. That goes back into the supply, and I get 1 victory point and an extra fertilizer. So just like that, I still have my initial starting corn in the ground. It replicated, and I harvested it all in one turn because I took the second field action instead of one. So let's find out what Gary does, shall we? Gary, let's see, we're still on my view. Okay, so here comes Gary. Gary's going to take the topmost general store action. Okay, so we're going to take Gary, and we're going to put him out on the general store action, which is right here. He blocked the 3. Okay, and then he takes actually 2 per round. So he's also going to take the topmost fields action. So we'll put out a little pink wheelbarrow for Gary's second action. That just tells me that he's taken 2. Great. Okay, that's it. He just blocks those 2. I've taken my turn. Gary's taken his turn. So now we move on to the end. I think that's the end of the phase, right? Yes. Sunset phase. Once all players have placed their wheelbarrows, you are ready to begin the sunset phase. We retrieve our stuff. We shift the buildings down. We discard the topmost farmer's market tiles and remove the round tracker. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, so here's how this goes. I'll come back to the full screen so you can see it. At the end of the round, we take back all of our wheelbarrows. So Gary takes back his stuff. Wait. Hold on. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. I've only taken 1 action. Okay, so ignore me. I need to go again. What's my second action going to be? We haven't gotten to the end of the round yet. We just did 1 turn. Jumping the gun, man. Okay. Well, I think I got $2 left. I would really like to go here. I'm a little nervous about that. I should have thought about that a little bit more. I want to go here. So let's go out to the workshop. And we're going to take the 1 action for the workshop. That gives us, if you see, going to the 1 action gives us $2. So I'm going to take my $2 back that I spent to do the build the barn, but I just made it back by taking my second action. And with one of those, I'm going to upgrade my bucket. So I'm going to spend $1, take my 1 workshop action, and then on my player board, I'm going to upgrade my bucket 1 spot. So now my bucket's at 4, which means I can carry a maximum of 3 water. Cool. Now let's find out what Gary does. He does 2 things, remember, every turn, because he's a jerk. He's going to take the topmost workshop action. Okay, fine. And then what's his second one? He's going to take the rightmost farmer's market. Frickin' Gary is going to take my frickin' spot from me right there. He just took my frickin' spot from me by blocking that. Screw you, Gary. Okay, fine. Fine. I was hoping I could get away with doing 1 more, but clearly not. Now what am I going to do? Well, I think instead we have $3. We're going to get some more money next round. I don't know how much, but yeah, it's totally rude. I'm going to go to here. And what I did is because Ruthie acts as if as she gets an additional action whenever she goes to the general store, I'm going to the 1 spot because the 1 spot gives me $1 when I go there. And I get, because I'm Ruthie, I get to take 2 actions instead of 1. So for my first trick, I'm going to spend one of those dollars that I have, and I'm going to refill my bucket. So on my player board, I'm currently at 1 because that's where I start the game. And did I go here? I don't think I spent my water. I didn't. I spent my water. I should have spent my water to tend my my crop, and I didn't. So I'm at 0, and I am going to, because it says refill my bucket, I'm going to refill that all the way up to its max capacity, which is 3. I did that for $1. And then I'm going to buy a blueberry. So let's talk about blueberries. Blueberries are a little different. Normally, when you plant things in your farm, if you harvest all of them, then you have to buy more seeds, plant more seeds, tend more seeds, and then harvest those seeds again, right? With blueberries, they're a bush. So when you're buying a blueberry, you're buying the blueberry bush. That bush gets planted on your farm, and then you can harvest it as many times as you want. The bush never goes away. It just grows more blueberries. So unlike everything else, you have to start from scratch. Blueberries just keep paying dividends. So we're gonna spend $2, and we're going to get ourselves a blueberry bush. A blueberry bush looks like that. Looks like this right here. So this guy is going to go, when I get this planted, it's worth 2 victory points on its own without even having done anything. I just plant it on my farm and I get 2 victory points. And then from that point forward, it will just produce blueberries every time I tend it. Cool. So let's see what I want to do. Okay, so that was my farmer's market, oh no, my general store action. I did 2 things. I paid $1 to refill, and I spent $2 to get a blueberry bush. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Now let's see what Gary does. Gary is going to take the topmost available at the general store. So he takes the 2nd spot at the general store. And then finally, Gary is going to take the bottommost workshop. Well, that's here. So that's over there. So Gary just took the bottommost workshop as well. So you can now see that the workshop is completely full up. You can't go here anymore. You can continue to go to the general store, but you have to take the 1 action. But that's okay by me because it's the end of the round. So he can go wherever he wants. I don't really care. Now that it is finally the end of the round, now we take everything back. So we're going to take Gary's tiles first and foremost. And you'll notice 2 of his tiles don't come out every round. So you don't even know 100% of which actions he's going to take. He's going to take most of the tiles he's got, but you don't exactly know which. So we're going to shuffle them up. And we're going to shuffle them up again. And shuffle them up again. Why not? Let's get them good and mixed. Okay, so there's Gary's tiles all mixed up, ready to go for the next one. We discard our sunrise. And we'll give the sunrise tiles a shovel. And we'll give them a cut. And we'll give them a shuffle. And we'll give them one more shuffle for good measure. Good enough. Okay. Now, one thing that's plaguing me in the back of my head is, do I draw a new sunrise tile every turn? I don't think so. I think it is, no. Yeah. Play, yeah, I did that right. Okay, cool. You do sunrise once a round, which makes sense. So first and foremost, we're going to take back all the wheelbarrow stuff. So we're going to take back Gary's stuff and all of his wheelbarrows. He beat me out of that spot. It makes me really mad. And then I take back Ruthie's markers. And we advance the turn marker to, now we're on round 2. But then we now discount all of the current tiles in the workshop. And the top tile of the farmer's market comes off. Now let's take a look at what we got for our actions. The farmer's market now has these 3. So you can pay $4 to take 3 fields actions and then build, if you have the money for it, and then upgrade a seed. You can not and then you can take them in any order you want. But I could upgrade a seed and then take 3 actions and then build. Or if the building that I want to build helps me in my farming, like for example, the let's take a look. Let's say the storehouse was here, right? So if I want to build the storehouse, that upgrades 3 seeds. So if I had a ton of seeds, right, I could come here, and then first action I take is to build the storehouse, right? That immediately lets me upgrade 3 of my seeds to better types of seeds. Then I take this to upgrade a 4th, because why not? And then finally, I can take 3 fields actions to get 3 out of my 4 upgraded seeds planted, all in one action. Cost me $4 to go here, though. And I don't have $4 to go there, even if I wanted to. But that is a location that you would want to use when you're primed, when you've already gone to the general store and you bought a bunch of really cheap seeds, right? And now I can do a bunch of upgrading. I can take 2 of those seeds and upgrade them twice, right? So let's say I bought corn twice. Corn doesn't cost me anything. I can go there and get that for free. And then I do what I just talked about, and I could upgrade both of those corn to blueberries with just doing the building the one building and taking the one action. And then I could get them planted as well. So that's really powerful. I only have 3 water right now. I'd love to upgrade my bucket again. I'm not in any immediate danger of Gary taking the middle space in the farmer's market, because he always starts by taking the left or the right one, and then if you see it again, then he'll take the center one. So I'm only, if he does that, if he does it once, then I know I might need to start jumping on that action before he takes it. How much do I really want to upgrade my bucket right now? I don't know. I just did it once. I have 3 water. I think what instead I want to do is maybe I take, for my first action this round, maybe I do take the farmer's market, see if I can get some seeds. Maybe I do take that, right? It would be my 3rd action, though, because I would want to get the storehouse built. But I can't get the storehouse built because I still have to clear the land first. Ooh, that's tricky. Huh. Well, that's tricky. Tricky. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to capitalize on that, no matter what I do. I just don't think it's going to be worth it. So instead, let's find out what we get from our initiative, shall we? So let's come over here to here. And now I have this blueberry that I want to plant, but I'll stick it over here underneath Ruthie for now. I'll stick it on Ruthie. We'll get that planted. Okay, so we're going to draw a 4th. Ooh, he's going first, folks. Yikes. Okay, Gary's going first no matter what this round. That sucks. But what that now means is I can take as low of an initiative as I want and get the best possible outcome, right? Well, they're all worth $3. And depending on how I can either upgrade the quality of a seed, or I can upgrade my bucket capacity, or I can get a strawberry. I think I'm going to upgrade the bucket capacity. It's one I don't want to spend an action on, but I want to keep doing that, because then the more water I have, the more I can spend in one shot. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to take the 7. Those are going to go away. And then, so let's take my 3, and I'll take my bucket upgrade. Cool. Now I have $4 again, and I have the ability to store 4 water. Not terrible. Now my sunrise ability is build another building or get $1. I don't really want to build another building right now because I don't have land to put it on. So I'm going to take my dollar. And it's just fine. It's helpful though, because Gary can use money in place of water and fertilizer. So more money I have, the more flexibility I have. I do have that blueberry bush that's waiting to get planted, and I want to do that. So I think we clear cut again, right? I think that's what we do. Because I want to get that planted. I can get it planted without it, but I'd like some more land to play with here. Oh, I should mention that when you go to the workshop, the actions, if you take a 2 or a 3, you can't take the same action over and over again. It's the only place on the board that's like it. So I couldn't say I want to clear cut twice. I could increase my bucket and clear cut, or build a building and clear cut. So I could, if I wanted to, come here for 2, clear cut, then build, right? But you are able to see that. Okay, good. But it's Gary's turn anyway, so he's going to dictate a lot about what's going to go on here. So let's find out what Gary does. Gary is taking the topmost general store. Oh, you know what? I kind of goofed last round. Gary goes first and last in this scenario because he gets first initiative. So I go, so he goes, then I go, then he goes, right? Because he goes twice every turn. So it's not a, he goes twice to my once. He just goes, every turn he goes twice and I go once, but we alternate back and forth. So that's all right. I did it a little, it was a little harder on myself last time, but it was also easier because I was able to see everything he was going to do in one shot. So I'll play it alternating this time around. Let's see. So do I want to try to go for that upgraded farmer's market spot? It's $4. That's a lot, but I can get a lot done in one shot. I need to clear cut first if I'm going to do that, because I need to build that storehouse. So let's see if Gary goes there first. I need the money if I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take the one spot over here. I'm going to take the one spot, get the $2, and clear cut once. So I'm back on my board here. I'm going to take this tile off, and on the workshop, I will put out this new longhouse that came out when I clear cut. So back on my player board, I now have that space available. But as we do before, we roll the die and we see what we got. We get a free wheat. Cool. That's actually pretty handy for us. Can you see that? You can't, can you? That's off to one side. Can you see that? Oh, you can. You can barely see that. It's on the tile. That's all right. So there you go. I rolled the die. I got a free wheat for clear cutting. That's handy because I actually wanted the seed. So, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's that. Let's see what Gary does for his last action this round. He takes the topmost workshop. Hey, that's cool. I wasn't going to take that anyway. Thanks, Gare. Thanks, Gare. Stupid Gary. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Gary goes again. Top of the round. Top of the turn here. Farmer's market. He takes the leftmost farmer's market. That bastard. That's what I was gunning for. Wheat is not pink. Wheat is just the pink on this die. Wheat actually looks like that. Yeah, that's wheat. Okay, so Gary screws me again. Shocker. But here's what we're going to do. We want to build a building. I think I'm going to take the second workshop action before he has a chance to screw me again. It is corn. Sorry, I meant to say corn. Did I say wheat? I meant corn. It might be wheat, though. Let's see. Am I freaking wrong? I could be saying this wrong completely. Let's see. Is it wheat or is it corn? Who knows? It's probably wheat. It's wheat. Okay. Never mind. Ignore me. It's wheat. It's been wheat the whole time. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to take the second workshop action. I'm going to come over here to the workshop. Before he has a chance to screw me out of this again, I'm taking the second workshop. This time I get 2 workshop actions. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spend $2 to build that storehouse. So $2 goes away. Storehouse comes out. I'm going to put that right here. And I'm not going to do that this second, actually. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm doing this all out of order. Take my $2 back. Take my character off that, because that's not what we're doing. Let's rewind that. What we're doing instead is we're coming over here to the 1 spot on the general store, because I get to take 2 actions when I go there instead of 1, but I also get the benefit of taking that $1. So I'm taking the free $1 and I'm going to get 2 wheat. So I now have 3 wheat seeds available. Okay, let's find out what Gary does. Gary is taking the lowest field spot. That's fine. He can do that. He's a jerk. It's fine. We're used to it. So he has now taken the lowest field spot. Okay, top of the round. We'll see what Gary does first. Gary takes the highest field spot. Great. Okay, so I have 3 wheat seeds and I have a blueberry bush. I think we're going to go ahead with the original plan. We're going to go ahead and come back over to the workshop for our last action. We're going to take 2 different actions here. We're going to spend $2 to clear cut. So I respent my $2. I just never put the tile back because I knew I was going to do that. So I respent my $2. And I still have the seed that I got from the clear cut, so that's fine. And now I'm going to, from my second trick, spend the $2 to build a storehouse. Storehouse does come out. Now I have 3 seeds. Now here's how I'm going to do that. I get to upgrade 3 seeds, but I can double them up, right? So I'm going to upgrade one of these twice for another blueberry bush. So now I have 2 blueberry bushes. I'll come back here. So now I have 2 blueberry bushes over here ready to get planted and 2 remaining wheat seeds. And then for my last upgrade, I'll upgrade one of these to a strawberry. Okay. Okay, so now I have a strawberry seed, a wheat seed, and 2 blueberry bushes. Gary's messing me up hardcore. I would have been able to get a lot more done if it wasn't for him. But, you know, hey, that's the way the fertilizer crumbles. What a jerk. It doesn't matter what he does for the second one because the game is over for this round. Okay, so let's discard the starting tiles. Give them a good shuffle, shuffle. Who's watching the big sports ball match over here in the U.S. today? Anybody? Anybody care? Are you on the bad team side or the good team side? Do you even know who's playing? Do you even know the game that's being played? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to watch it either because I don't care about those teams. Okay, those are shuffled. Let's get Gary's stuff shuffled. The kids are being impatient. But what else is new? They're always impatient this time of day. Okay. So we'll give those a good cut. Great. Gary's stuff is shuffled. So let's pull back all of the wheelbarrows. And okay, it is now round 3. We discard the tile. We pet the dog. And oh, that tile is upside down. That's not going to help us at all. There we are. All right, let's take a look at the new actions at the farmer's market this round. It is round 3. We only have one more to go after this. The most expensive lets us clear cut, upgrade the bucket, and then refill the bucket. Interesting. All righty. It is round 3. I have $4. Let's find out what the initiative is for this round, shall we? Well, there's 3. Here's Gary's. Gary's going 9th. Okay, good. That's nice. Oops, I discarded mine. Oh well, doesn't matter because I'd be trading it anyway, and Gary's not going to take one of these. So I could go last if I wanted to let Gary go again, which I do not want to do. I think I'm going to go 3rd though, because I want to upgrade that wheat to a strawberry. I could upgrade the strawberry to a blueberry though, which would not suck. Because again, those blueberry bushes are worth 2 every time. Yeah, I think I'm going to go 3rd. Get my $3. Oh, you're on the wrong freaking thing again, aren't I? There we go. So I'm going to go 3rd. That lets me get $3 and upgrade a seed. So I'm going to upgrade this strawberry to a blueberry. That's the wrong thing. I want the blueberry bush, please. Okay. Now I need to get that freaking land cleared so that I can plant those blueberries. Okay, so I'm going first because I have a higher initiative than Gary does. Ha ha. I'm tempted to spend $4 freaking dollars to clear cut land, upgrade my bucket, and fill my bucket in one shot. Because clear cutting my land costs $2. That's right, suck it, Gary. Clear cutting my land costs $2. Upgrading my bucket costs $1. So it's really only $1 extra buck to be able to do all 3 of those in one action. So that's what I'm going to do. I think that's silly not to do that. And Gary's screwed me out of that spot twice now. So we're going to go here first so we can't. So here's what we're going to do with this. We get 3 things, right? We get to clear cut. So we're going to clear cut down here. We're going to clear cut this guy. And that becomes a well that's going to go out as a $3 item. Oh, I forgot. Weather vane is supposed to fall off Oopsie. Let's do that. So the weather vane fell off because it was at a 1 and I never got it built. Everything got discounted because it was the top of the round. I forgot to do that step. So the well that I just clear cut, that was on the other side of my clear cut tile, that comes out as a $3 item. Okay, so back to my player board. So I did the first step of my little combo command. I need to spend $4 to take that action. I forgot to do that. So first and foremost, I spend my $4, down to $3 now for anybody who's keeping score. Now I upgrade my bucket 1, and then I refill my bucket. So now I am at a bucket level of 6, which lets me carry 5 water. And I have a maximum amount of water. That's helpful because we're about ready to plant a bunch of stuff. Yep. I have 3 fertilizer. To plant 3 blueberries, I need 6 fertilizer. So I suppose it's good that I have $3 because Rosie, is it Rosie? Yeah, Ruthie. Because Ruthie lets me spend money in place of fertilizer. But I never got my buck for my sunrise. I'm gonna take my buck back. I could have had, either could build a building or get $1, but I didn't have the land to build a building even if I wanted to. So I took the $1, but I forgot to do it. So let's see what Gary does. Gary does the bottommost fields action. Okay. And because I already went, Gary goes again. Gary takes the bottommost workshop location. That's why Gary went twice, because Gary went twice because he was the bottom of the initiative. That first round, he went twice in a row, and that's why he did it. I just, for some reason, was thinking I did that wrong, but I didn't. We only alternate when he goes first. Okay. So I have the land to plant need fertilizer. I could take one action and hope that Gary doesn't take the topmost fields action. It's not, look, the odds aren't good. But if he does, it's not the end of the world. I'll just get 2 of them planted instead of 3. So we're going to, instead of spending the money, we're going to take one action. And you can't see that because I'm not in the right view. I'm going to take one 3-level action at the general store. I think that means 4, actually, because Ruthie can take +1. So we're going to get 3 fertilizer, 1, 2, 3. And we already have our bucket filled. So I might as well just get a 4th. Why not? We'll get a 4th fertilizer. Okay, let's see what Gary does. Back here, Gary does the topmost workshop, and then the leftmost, which I've already done it. Sorry, the rightmost farmer's market. Fine. So he gets the blueberry and the, over here, he gets the blueberry and the fertilizer blocked off. Okay, I wasn't planning on taking that anyway. Okay, so I rolled my dice, I took my chances, and it paid off. He did not take the topmost fields action, so now I will do that. For my last trick, I'll come over here, and I'll take that action. It is the 3rd round, so that action costs me $3. I will spend $3, and I will take 3 fields actions. I have 3 blueberry bushes that need to be planted. So I'm going to plant all 3 of them. Okay, as you can see in the planting action, it takes 2 fertilizer per blueberry I want to plant. I have 3, so it's going to take 6. So we look at my player board. I currently have 7 fertilizers, so I'm going to bring that down to 1. And now I'm going to plant all 3 blueberries. And that is 6 victory points. So I go from 2, which is where that was, to 8. In one action. Okay. Now Gary does whatever Gary does, but it doesn't matter because it's the end of the round. Only one more round to go. Pretty low scoring game this time. I don't think I'm going to end up getting a high enough score unless I can get, oh, Gary was supposed to be dropping tiles. Whoops, my bad. So Gary went there the last round too. I'm going to put one lower because that would have been where Gary's tile would have been. That's fine. So what came out though is I get to do one, if I build the library that just came out, at the end of the game, after the game has ended, that tile lets me take one last field action, which can be quite huge at the end of the game. But I don't think I mean, I could do I could do like a harvest action at the end, because harvesting, you can just harvest as many plants that can be harvested in one action. It's not like harvest one plant. That can be massive because if you harvest a blueberry bush, they're 4 victory points apiece. I have 3 blueberry bushes. So if I get them watered and planted, and then I build the library at the last second, then I get to harvest all 3 of those and make 12 victory points in one shot. Okay. So those are Gary's tiles. So I think we're going to try that. But first, let's get everything pulled back. So here comes my wheelbarrows. It is round 4. Here comes Gary's wheelbarrows. The last tiles comes off because I never got those built. Those come down. The library is now worth $1. That doesn't suck. And the last farmer's market tile comes off. Now let's take a look at our new farming tile options. These are static. The last round, the farmer's market always looks like this. The only ones that are random are the first 3 rounds, which is good. Interesting. So 2 field actions. Huh. That's interesting. So let's, ooh, you can't see that. I must focus. There, let's try that again. Apologies for the lack of focus. Alrighty, is that focused okay for you or no? I think it's okay. Is it a little blurry? Am I seeing things? Alrighty. Well, so here's what I'm debating. I'm debating if I go to the farmer's market and I spend $1. I didn't shuffle. While I describe this to you, I will shuffle these sunrise tiles. If I go to the farmer's market and I spend $1, I can upgrade a seed and then take 2 fields actions. Well, fields actions are here, right? So if I make sure that actually focused this time, it should have. It looks like it did. Good. All right. So if if I take 2 fields actions, I have 5 water. I really should have 6 water, but I can spend $1 in place of water. So depending on how much money I get at the start of the round, I could spend $3. Okay, good. I could spend $3. No, $1. I could spend $1 to take 2 farm actions and a seed upgrade. So I could spend 4 water to tend. No, that's not right. Yeah, I could, for one of my actions, I could spend $4 water to tend 2 blueberry bushes. Because I don't have a 6th. If I do have an extra $1, so I could spend all 5 of my water plus $1 to tend all 3 of my blueberry bushes. I wouldn't be able to tend the wheat as well. That would have been nice, but I can't because I don't have enough water to do it all in one shot. So I would, but I would still get those 3 blueberry bushes. My hand's in the camera view? No, good. I would still get those 3 tended in one shot. And then for my second field action, I could harvest and make 12 victory points in that one action for $1. And then I would want to try to do that again at least once, possibly twice, somehow in the course of finishing this round. I think I might be able to pull off 3 times, maybe. Oh, but I don't know that I can get enough water. I would need to refill my bucket somehow. No, I'm going to only be able to do it twice. Maybe twice because of the water problem. Unless, okay, all right. It barely depends on how much money I get. Let's find out how much money I get. So let's find out what Gary is going to do for us this time around. Why is that so blue? Looks a little blue, doesn't it? Interesting. That's a little better, I think. Well, yeah, okay, we'll try that. All right, so Gary's going to go third. Oh, bummer. I didn't draw a 10. I really wanted to draw a 10 because I want the extra money. I did draw, not a one of them is a refill the water bucket. That would have been nice. Do I get water on the die? I don't think I do. That would have been nice. Fertilizer, seeds. I get money though, possibly. So I could clear cut my land. Well, I'm going to need to if I want to build one of the buildings. So I'll take the 9. I could take the 2 and get a fertilizer in $2 and then beat Gary, but I don't think that's going to happen. I need the money. I need to clear cut, and that's going to help me get that done a lot faster. So let's see what happens. I get $3. This is the last round, remember. They get $3, so now I have a total of 4. I get to clear cut, so I will clear cut this tile here. That turns into a mercantile, which gives me, for $3, it gives me $3. So that only makes sense to build that later in the game, which of course there is no later in the game. So, okay, so now I have an open space. I get to roll the die, and I get a fertilizer. That is unfortunate. I don't really want a fertilizer. Maybe I do though. Maybe I do, because down here, worst case, I could trade 2 fertilizer for a field action, which I may want to do. Okay. Okay. Now my sunrise tile lets me build a building or take $1. I only have $4. So the question is, let's come back over here, take a look. Is that in focus? It should be in focus. Looks like it's in focus. Do I build the longhouse for $1? Let's see. Let me try bumping that to 65. See if that's any better for you. I think it is, but I don't know. I feel like I'm at the optometrist office. Is it 1 or is it 2? Okay, so let's say I build the longhouse. That gives me 2 field actions, which I want to do. Or I could, but it cost me $1, same as the other one, but I don't get a seat upgrade. I don't know that I care. I could, on the other hand, build the library, which lets me do 1 field action at the end of the game after everything's said and done. But I can't quite predict what state my game's going to be in, so I don't know if that's really the best option for me. I feel like I should build a longhouse because I can guarantee get this done once, and I haven't even started my turn yet. So I'm going to build I feel like building the longhouse makes the most sense. So we're going to build the longhouse for $1. That gives me 2 victory points. And I didn't take the victory points for the storehouse because I would be at 10 or 12 if that were the case. So I did that. Okay, and now I get to take, because I built that, I got to take 2 farm actions right now. So I'm going to take 2 10. No, I'm going to take a 10 action. I'm going to spend 4 water. No, I'm going to spend all 6 water. So 5 down to 0 plus $1 for the 6th water. And I'm going to tend all 3 of my blueberry bushes. So just like that, these cutie little blueberries come onto the tiles. Okay, now I have blueberries and you can't see. There you go. So I'll come over here where you can see. So now I have 3 blueberries on my blueberry bushes because I took 1 tend action and spent all of my water, plus I spent $1, so I'm down to $2. And now I have that. For my second of my field actions, I'm going to harvest. I can harvest as many times as I want for anything that's available. So I'm going to harvest all 3 of my blueberries for 4 victory points apiece. And now the bushes stay put because that's the special thing about blueberries. And I get 12 victory points. 24. Okay. I'm at 24 points. And that's before the round has even begun. Okay. I have $2 left. It is Gary's turn. Gary is going to the farmer's market, and he's going to take the rightmost action. I somehow thought you might, you jerk. And now it is my turn. Okay. Well, now what do I want to do? I think I'm going to spend $1. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to we'll go here. And I'm going to go, yeah, I'll go 1. And I'll get the $1 for going there. And I will spend $1 to refill my water bucket. Is that what I'll do? Or no, I won't. I'll take the dollar back, and instead I'll go here for $2. And I'll spend, I'll spend $2. Those are my last $2, and I will refill my water bucket. And I will take a tend action, and I will tend 2 of my blueberries for 4 water. Because I don't have enough money to add that third, the 6th water I need. But that's okay. That was still better to do than the alternative, which was to spend 2 actions. Okay, so then Gary goes again, and he takes the highest general store action. Nope, that's not Gary, that's me. He takes the highest general store. Focus again. Okay. Better. Okay. All right. All right, so that's the end of that. Gary goes first again. And he takes the leftmost farmer's market. He just crushed me. I was really hoping he wouldn't do that. That's not the end of the world necessarily. I was really hoping he would leave me alone just a little longer on that other spot. Now what I want to do, though, I need to refill my water. I'm trying to resist the urge of going here on the one spot just to get the extra water to get my blueberry planted. I'd only be able to take 1 action, though. And that just feels insufficient. Yes, Gary is the interrupting cow, after all. So if, on the other hand, I took the 2 action, I could, well, all right, let me think about this for a minute. I could build the library. If I built the library, though, I need the money. So I can't build a library because I don't have the land for it. Nope, okay, never mind. It's not going to work. I think my only real option left is to refill the water bucket and get $1. And I could do that by going to the general store. So let's try that. Let's refill. Let's go here, get $1 for going to that one spot. I get to do 2 things here. It's not really material, but I will refill my water buckets. So now I have 5 more water. It cost me $1 to do that, so the dollar I just got has gone away. But I think it's still the right thing to do. And then my second action, I might as well get another fertilizer. Why not? And then we'll see what the interrupting cow wants to do. He's going to do the bottommost field action, which is fine because I don't really care about that action. He's going to go here. Okay, so now he goes first, top of the round. So he's going to take the topmost workshop action. So he's going here. That doesn't look like that's going to be in focus at all. We're going to come down to there-ish. I think that's going to be in focus. Anyway, he takes the topmost action at the workshop, which is fine. I didn't want to do that anyway. So back to me. I'm going to take the 2 field action. For my first field action, I'm going to tend my last blueberry for 2, and I'm going to tend my wheat for 1. So what is that? For that tend action, what does that do? Well, that puts my last blueberry out, and it replicates my wheat. Okay, and now for my second harvest or field action, I'm going to take harvest. Harvest lets me harvest anything that's ready, right? So I'm going to come back to here, and on my, let me make sure that's in focus. I think it is. Great. Okay. So on my player board, everything here is ready to be harvested. So I'm going to harvest all of it. I don't care about replicating wheat anymore. I'm out of turns. It's the end of the game. So I'm going to harvest both of my wheat for 2 fertilizer and 2 victory points. 1, 2. And I'm going to harvest all 3 of my blueberry bushes again for 12 more victory points. 26 to 38. Okay. Now it doesn't matter what Gary does because all he's doing is blocking spaces, and that's it. That is the end of the game. Okay. I don't think I did terribly well. Let's see. I believe that, yeah, there it is. Okay. Let's take a lookie. I didn't do too bad. Let's see how this plays out. Scoring. Yes, right. Right, great. Okay, I want to make sure I got that right. Game end. Each player in sunrise order resolves their endgame buildings in the order of their choosing and scores the buildings. I don't have any endgame buildings. I did all immediates. Each player scores 1 point per each unharvested crop in their field. This does not include blueberry bushes. Right, because you're not going to score the blueberry bushes twice. I already scored my blue... No, did I? I don't think I scored my blueberry bushes. I only scored the buildings because I scored 2 points per building. No, I did. I scored the blueberry bushes. That's why I went 6. I had 2 points and I went 6, and then that put me at 8. Yeah, I had already done that. Okay. Each player scores 1 point for every 2 leftover coins. I have no leftover coins. That's it. So 38 points is what I got. That puts me in the kindergartner category. Let's see if I can get that on screen here. There, that's good enough. So that's the solo scoring. I didn't get above 44, so I am a kindergartner. Kindergartner. Love that. I am a kindergartner. I mean, that tracks because I really am kind of a kindergartner. So anyway, super cute game. I didn't do terribly. I did the second to the worst, but not bad. I didn't do the absolute worst, right? And that's really it. You saw me battle it out against Gary the Interrupting Cow. I hope you enjoyed it. I think the game is extremely charming. I really like the mechanics. It's very, very tight. I hope you found it still interesting. I really think it is a lovely game. And if you're somebody who really likes a lot of thematic integration in their games and really good art treatment combined with really, really solid mechanics, and you like farming, you can't go wrong with Harvest. So thanks for joining me today. Depending on how things go in the next week or two, I might play some darker themed games rather than farming all the time. So stay tuned. We'll see how this goes. And even if we're allowed to stream by then. But anyway, that's all we're going to do for this week, Sunday at the Table with Bob. So thank you for joining me, and see you again next week. Take care, everybody.